Oh, we are live. We are live. You are live. It's Let's Unwind with the Evans. So right now we want you all to grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab some water. I'm actually parched. That was my segue.
Oh my God. Hey guys, welcome to Let's Unwind with the Evans. My name is Thomas and this is my wife, Jessica. It has been a while since we have been on Hundi Hair, but now that we're Hundi Hair, we want you to tag and share with your friends and family and let them know that we are on the air.
Absolutely. So thank you all for allowing me to get a sip of drink to quench my thirst. But no, we all want you guys to go ahead and tag and share. We miss you all. It's been like a month. It's been about a month since we've actually been doing Let's Unwind. We appreciate all the prayers and all of the support. You all are awesome. We thank you for at least building our audience. So allowing people to join the page and just spreading the word of what we do.
Yes.
And for those who may not be aware, this isn't just a platform to just target married couples. This is not a platform for those who know we have Real Talk with the Singles. This isn't even a platform to just target those individuals or dating couples. But honey, why don't you tell them a little bit about what we do behind the scenes of the Evans.
Oh man, what do we not do? No, we actually counsel couples. We do couples counseling. We do couples coaching, and we also do individual counseling and coaching.
Yeah.
And so with that, what that means is if you have relationship issues, problem, we're available to help coach and counsel you in what you're dealing with to try to help you get to the next level. I'm sitting all low. We also, we give you tools, we give you strategy.
Yes.
We have a curriculum that we use, and we take you through the curriculum to really help you to build your toolbox of tools that you need to have a perfect relationship.
Absolutely.
The reality is most of us don't know how to have a good relationship. We've never been taught how to have a good relationship. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, through trial and error, we get into situationships,
which are never good,
that we call relationships, that turns up into divorcingships. So what we want you to do is to really...
No. My husband and I started on situationships, but it wasn't ideal. Hey,
DeAndrea.
So it can work.
God bless you, DeAndrea.
Hi, DeAndrea. So it can work. We're not going to say situationships all end in disaster. But listen, if I have to be truly transparent,
a lot of them do.
A lot of work has to be done.
Listen.
A lot of work to undo what was done, because if there's situationships, you almost adapted yourself to that particular situation.
Yes.
So whether you have distorted thinking, and what distorted thinking is, it brings off of, you have thoughts based off of your own brokenness. So
notice what she said. You have thoughts based in your own brokenness.
Yes.
So that means that every thought that you have is going to come from that broken place. That's distorted thinking.
Right. So when you're easily involved in a situationship, that may also encourage that distorted thinking that you're already in, because a situationship, there's no security. And ladies that are watching, you know, we all need security. We do. We flat out do. If we don't have security, look, our time, biological clock starts ticking. For the ladies who are just like, look, I haven't lived my best life yet, and I need this one to work, that biological clock starts ticking. Or just the fact that we don't want to be in the position where we're settling. So yes, my husband mentioned that sometimes situationships do often end in divorce. It ends with compromising your self-worth when that should have never been compromised.
Some situationships never even make it to down the aisle. Yeah. Because they're situationships.
And you've given all yourself.
That means that you put yourself in a situation and never bothered to really, but again.
But we're going to get into all that. That's not even our topic tonight.
We about to get in.
We were just blown. We miss y'all. Can we just say how much we miss y'all?
It's been too long. It's been too long, but there's been a lot going on. It really has. As for me, I've been really just trying to take in, the passing of my father. It's pretty devastating. He and I had an awesome relationship, and so I really kind of had to get my mind together, and just take some time away from everybody, and just really, regroup.
Yeah, and it's okay to do so. Yeah. Sometimes, and we encourage if something transitional happens in your life, especially if you're a leader, you have to take a break. You have to learn how to take a break.
Take a break.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup. I'll say that again. Mm-hmm. As a leader, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So we're going to get into all of that tonight. We encourage you again to tag and share. I know most of you all are used to the music and all of that, but just a few quick announcements that we're going to make. We usually make announcements at the end, but we feel like this topic is going to be a little lengthy tonight, possibly. We'll see what happens. But one of the quick announcements we have is, for those who have been following the Real Talk with the Singles, the special edition, that has taken off tremendously. We give God the glory with that. We are actually going to begin a tour starting in Atlanta.
Yes.
So for those who are in surrounding areas, for those who live in Atlanta, you definitely want to be a part of it. Even if you want to take a weekend trip, like let's go to Atlanta. We could be a part of a talk show. We could be in the live audience asking our questions.
Let's do it.
Heck, we could even do a date night. Look, instead of going out to Ruth Chris or Papa Do's or whatever the case may be, let's go to this talk show and really get real live feedback from not only singles, but married couples, where we aspire to be, to make sure our dating relationship is going in that direction.
Right.
So we want to encourage you, please save the date. The date is July 24th. Again, we will be in Atlanta. Real Talk with the Singles.
We'll be in Snellville, Georgia, which is just right outside of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's July 24th. It's going to be a live, open venue. We're going to have food. We're going to give you some drinks, virgin type drinks. So don't, hear drinks and y'all about but
it's not going to be no open bar.
No, we've got a catered event. We're going to have a DJ live on the scene.
Yeah.
So it's going to be music. It's going to be food, drinks. Our panelists of our singles panels are going to be available. And we're going to be discussing some issues that's going to be very pertinent to your lives, whether you're single or married. And so we encourage you to come out. There's going to be a cost for that. We should have the flyer coming out really soon.
Yes.
Hopefully, we should be able to post it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's going to give you all the details, the address. We encourage you to come out with us and join us. We would love to have you guys. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be lit, as they like to say. So I'm encouraging each and every one of you guys that are watching to come on out. Also, don't forget, guys, to tag and share with your friends and family. Tag and share. We need you. It's been a minute since we've been on the air. So
we want everyone not to miss our comeback. Okay.
Yeah, really, the comeback.
It's really
don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. That's that LL Cool J. But the topic for tonight, though, is really simple. It's entitled, "Is Your Mate Paying You Any Attention?" That speaks so much. So it speaks volumes.
It does.
Is your mate paying you any attention? Are you talking and they hear womp 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 womp? Or are they paying you attention when you speak? Are they paying you attention when you dress, the way you dress? Are they paying you attention when you leave the house, when you come in the house? Are they paying you attention in the bedroom? Are they paying you attention? One of the things that goes wrong in a lot of relationships is the fact that a lot of times you could be with someone and that person is not paying you any attention.
Yes.
And that creates so many voids within the relationship because they're not paying attention, and you're doing everything you can to vie for that person's attention. And you just find, you know what? You're not even hearing me. You're not even listening to me.
Right.
So that can create a problem. And so that's what we want to address tonight, is to ask the question, is your mate paying you any attention?
So I want to first go ahead and kick this thing off for you guys. And I am actually just tagging. Please do the same. Please be our guest and do the same. So depending on where you are, we actually want to see the city and state that you're in. This is going to be very imperative. We're going to really promote this with actually saying where you're from, because like we mentioned, we're starting a full live tour. So the more traction we have in a certain area, the more susceptible we are to going there.
To be in your area.
Come on now.
That's it.
So from that perspective, so when we're asking you to put your city and state, that's not just the by time or anything like that. We really want to know where you're tuning in from. So when it comes to is your mate paying you any attention, the reason this came about actually, transparently speaking, my husband and I were having a conversation, and along the lines of the conversation, it was like he was asking, well, he did an action first. So what he did was actually try to, I guess my shirt was lifting, ladies. You know how your shirt lifts when you're sitting down or when you're bending over or when you're bending down, you know, that type of thing. So when I got back up and was at the right posture, I needed to readjust, right? So instead of me knowing I needed to readjust and really, you know, you feel the breeze and all that other stuff, and you feel something that's different with you, my husband actually is one who is very observant, very, very observant. He does not miss a beat. So as quickly as I would go to readjust, he would already have his fingers on my shirt. Like, as quickly as listen, y'all not hearing me. I don't think y'all feel me. Like, as quickly as the thought comes, he literally is already touching me. So for me, it's almost on this, I almost get this perspective like, okay, well, if you're already doing something that I know to do, I start getting kind of protective, or I get into that distorted thinking like, do you think I would just leave the house? Like, say you're going out to dinner or you're getting ready to leave and transition. Do you think, publicly speaking, that I would present myself in this way? So I would think that, but never communicate it to him.
Right. So
what would you get on the other end, like on the receiving end? If I go to do like this, she'd be like, you know, a facial expression, a body language, like, don't touch me. You know, what are you doing? You know, I'm like, dude, you got a piece of string in your hair. Can I get the string out of your hair? You know, so I've got to defend myself, you know, and I'm like, I'm trying to help you. See how I broke that down? I give him an inch, you pick him out.
No, gotta put the truth out there. She fabricating it. But the reality is, like I would tell her, I said, babe, I'm trying to help you. You know, and as your mate, that's my job, you know, is to help you. And so when you kind of come across the way you come across, I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's about. Is it that you don't want me? There you go, Sean. She's got some unresolved issues. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Why did I tag you in the first place?
I'm like, what, you know, so I know, but really I've got to ask, okay, well, what's going on with that? Where do you not want me touching you, or you feel like I'm violating you? You know, I don't want to crowd. I mean, so I don't. I try to find the balance in that. So I was just telling her one day. I said, you know, to a degree, babe. Hey, Apostle Sally, how you doing, man?
Thank you, Apostle Sally. My bro's on the line.
I said, you know, I'm not sure where that comes from, and so I wanted to find out. You know, is that a form of individualism where because you've been single for so long, you're just not used to somebody helping you?
That's not how he reacted. How did you react, babe?
That's exactly how I reacted.
It turns into a conversation, but over the years, listen, I said, I said, okay, for those who are tuning in for the first time, my husband and I have been together, not married, but been together for 6 years. Okay. So with that being said, you better know how long, when you say that, the man be like, waiting for the woman to answer.
Not this man.
Observant.
Not this
you see? Okay, but no. He been coach. We was bad with. No, don't even do that. Don't make that face with numbers and dates and my husband. Okay, so he's observant, but we're not gonna get into the phone number issue. We're not gonna do it. But
listen, okay, I'll get into it. Again, we got an audience. Here's my thing, people, and I have to blame it on technology.
And he's an IT professional. The thing is, I'm an IT professional,
so I work with computers, computer programming, all that.
Game.
So what happens is, when I get her number, I put her number in my phone. She baby boo, like Apostle Sally, boo face. That's what he called his wife. So we go somewhere one day, and I forget what was going on. They asked for her number, and I was like, well, hold on, let me get it. And she was heated because she like, you don't know my number? And I'm like, well,
we were in the middle of a grocery store parking lot. I know exactly what happened.
And I'm like, babe, well, I know the number, but I gotta find it because I got it locked in my thing. No, you should know my number by heart. And the fact that you don't know my number means that you don't care for me.
No,
and I'm like, wait a minute.
No, he's telling half truth.
No.
What happened was I was getting ready to send my mother-in-law something, right? So I asked him specifically, I said, babe, do you know mom, or something along the lines of the zip code? No, it was the address. It was the address. Either way, I knew the address. His own mother now. I knew the address, and mom knows it, so it ain't just dishing it out. So I knew the address, and he didn't know the address. So then it opened up the conversation like, oh, if you don't even know where your own mama and daddy live, do you know my number by heart? Because he went on the numbers thing. He was like, well, babe, I ain't good with numbers. And I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that at all.
But that's it.
And then I made him on the spot, and he was like, no, babe, it's because your name is saved, and tell me if you see a number in contacts. And I'm like, what did Apostle Sally? Bro, the struggle is real when you don't remember what they think you should remember. Where my sister? See, that's why I said we shouldn't start this without Renee.
But the point again is the fact that, like I mentioned earlier,
hi Sheldon.
Due to technology, I stopped remembering.
Thank you, Sean. I have a point.
Sean is goofy. I stopped remembering phone numbers years ago because I save it as a name.
Look, I ain't years ago.
And so now my wife, on the other hand, watch this.
I'm current.
My wife, on the other hand, has numbers now, and I kind of had to question this at one point. She has numbers that she just remembers.
Oh yeah.
So the question is,
I remember everything.
So the question is that game?
I'm calculating
because you don't want a person's name to pop up. So it's like, no, I'm just gonna put the number in it. I'm just gonna have the number.
No, seriously.
That's what single people use as game. Oh, they don't want to put a name on there, and so it's like, because I don't want you to know that's Randy. I don't want you to know that's Sam.
No, that wasn't the thing. Growing up,
he said, don't bring her on.
My home phone number is 704-573-3803. I have not had a home phone in 15, 16 years, and I still remember that number. Now, what I'm saying is, what was your home phone growing up? You know.
I do know that.
Yeah, go ahead and say it for the people.
704-536-8490.
You see that, right? How much more should you know your years. I ain't trying to hear that. Life can happen.
20 years.
Life can happen. The worst case scenario, and your phone dead. Oh shoot, I can't get in touch with my wife. Now he in trouble in the doghouse. This wasn't even supposed to be our topic, but listen, y'all. I'm just saying he had to memorize. Now what's my number?
I'm not gonna point out your number now. You know I know your number, but I'm not gonna do it on the air.
Now?
Oh my goodness, not on the air. So needless to say, because of that,
that was a trick.
Because of that, and it wasn't a trick question. Because of that, I went and I memorized her number purposely, just so that she would know I know her number. And so I don't have to rely on her name. just crazy. But it goes back
It ain't crazy.
But watch this. But that's what I'm saying. That don't count. Look, see, Sally is my dude. He's with me.
But Sean is my dude tonight, even though he started off the wrong way.
See, home numbers are different.
Your wife, your mama, and then your own numbers, you should be able to run those off right away.
The only reason, watch this.
Listen, I know his social security number by heart.
Wait, and she just learned that. But
no,
watch this. Watch this, Sean. To that point. The only and she knows this is true. The only reason I can remember my phone number. Now watch this.
I have Destiny as proof. My
phone number is very reminiscent of an old song sung by Morris Day and the Time. Their number was 777-9311. My number is 777-9339. I've had that number for about 15 years now and won't change it because it's so easy to remember.
That's why y'all brothers.
So
y'all hilarious. I just want to let Sean know.
Listen,
y'all are hilarious.
With what I do for a living, I don't have time to be trying to think about stuff. Ain't nobody got time for all that.
Okay, so I know social.
Sally said he don't know his wife's social.
Listen, over here, that's a requirement, okay? You remember numbers, okay, that are valuable because you can only go off of what your memory sometimes. You can't rely on technology. And that was my whole point.
I'm a computer guy. I'm a geek. That's what we rely on for a living. And she's going to tell me not to rely on the very thing that I program.
Moving on.
So anyway, we're paying attention. Okay. So,
Sean, I blame you.
So I asked you guys the question, is that because, and she's right, I'm very observant. I am. And I know, and I'm cognizant of this. I pay attention a lot of times to stuff that most men never pay attention to. That's not a knock on men. It's just, my mama always taught me to pay attention. So I learned I can tell you if your eyebrows need to be done. I can tell you if your nails need to be done. I can tell you, stuff that most men may not even look at.
Your eyebrows need to be done. You go, hey.
But all that stuff.
That was a slide.
You got to tell the EMT the number, right? I tell the EMT, look at my phone and look for baby.
That is a shame. Technology has crippled.
Look at my phone and go to baby.
Technology has crippled marriage. I said it.
No.
It has crippled the ability to
go on my phone and find baby. It's only one baby in my phone. Well, it's two. But
y'all husbands telling me.
She's baby and my sister is baby girl. So, and then my brother is baby bro.
All these babies.
If my phone is in the river, what is my phone going to do in the river? You trying to put me in the grave? First accident, now the river.
No, he's being not realistic.
Sean, get off my phone.
No, listen.
Get off my phone.
Things can happen. Accidents can happen. I just mentioned technology going out, like vanished, like it never existed. How? Oh, I guess phone numbers wouldn't need to be there if technology goes out.
Look.
Never mind. Answer my own question.
Look what he said. My wife is the only number I know by heart, but no one. And I'm the same way, and not because my wife made me memorize. We were
together for 6 years.
She was a bully.
Listen, we were together for 6 years. No. Right. Year number 4 is when I realized the Negro did not know my number by heart. Year 4, ladies and gentlemen, year 4. Don't be a
she's in the phone
in a dating.
She's world. In the phone as baby. I remember that. That's memorization. It's like, okay, when I talk to Siri, I don't tell Siri 980-335. I don't tell Siri that. I tell Siri baby, and Siri be like calling baby, and she dials the number. See, that's technology. So to Sean's question, if she's in the river, that means Siri gonna have an issue.
Anyways, you start to make a great point. Comma stand for pause. You see, let me go back to the comment.
I saw what he said.
Anyways, you start to make a pause.
Sean about to put me back in retirement. He about to make me go right back on retirement. I've been off for a whole month and he gonna get me out there. But my question is that in that being observant perspective, is that too much? Or, I mean, is it stepping over a boundary? Ladies, you know, some of the ladies you talk to, you know, do you feel like that's overstepping the boundary? If, you know, perhaps, you know, she's got a strap and I'm trying to fix her strap. And
you know what I was trying to get my husband to kind of get to? I actually never knew, like I would think internally, like, doesn't he know I would care more about my appearance before I walk out the house? Doesn't he know? Like, I would come from a projection and an offense perspective. I wouldn't even say it's more of independence. I would come from an offense, like, do you not know? Right? We just got, maybe act like you know. We can come from an offense perspective. And then for him, it's like, why do I always have to get off, like a brushing off perspective? And I was like, wow, so I am kind of rejecting you in that notion. And right. I don't realize, and you're just trying to help. Marriage, you're being each other's helpmate. What you don't have eyes for, I have the eyes. What is wrong with me having the eyes?
That's what I said to her. That's exactly what I said to her. I said,
what is wrong with me having the eyes?
Because her point was, you know, I know how to do it. And what if and I'm like, babe, if you got something on your back, you don't have eyes on your back. You can't see that.
That's right, his sarcasm.
And again, like the point I mentioned earlier, you know, she's got locks. So there's time when she may get a style that, you know, they have to tie it up. So there may be a string in her hair. I'm trying to get the string. You don't see the string in the back of your head. So,
and it's black.
So you know, and so I'm like, why would you, you know, and I'm trying to help you understand I can see what you cannot see. Allow me to see what you can't see and help you, and not always feel like you got to be so independent and individualized that I'm not able to assist you.
Right. And it kind of goes to a topic that my husband and I had before, where we talked about kind of like the coming from a single mindset into a married mindset. And a lot of the things that I did as a single person, I had to adapt and allow my husband to be able to do things, such as, ladies, when it comes to getting your nails done, when it comes to taking care of yourself, when it comes to just doing things for yourself. If you're so used to making yourself happy, most single people specialize in making their own self happy.
Right.
So when it comes to that level, most of that is rooted in disappointment.
Ooh.
So it's not necessarily buying things to make yourself happy more than it is, I refuse to allow another person to disappoint me. So I'll take the power from you. I don't need you.
And that happens a lot in relationships. And a lot of times the married couples don't realize that when they're coming into relationship with each other, that if you don't allow yourself to, we oftentimes talk about submit and submission. That's what submission means. Allowing yourself the ability to accept when someone is trying to help you and do a thing. And the reality is what happens is oftentimes you miss that, hey, wait a minute, I'm taking away your power. Watch this. What power? Your power and ability to love me. Because that my way of showing you I love you.
It's by action.
It's by action. So I'm not going to let you walk out of here looking any old kind of way. I'm not going to allow you to walk out of here with doing this, that, and the third. So it's really about coming together and truly being what the Bible describes as a helpmate.
Yes.
And that is making sure that in every area you are provided for and taken care of, not just financially.
And that's why we stress the importance really of counseling. We can't stress it enough because a lot of the preconceived mindsets and how you respond to certain things, there's a root behind it, whether it's a healthy root or a damaged root. Nonetheless, there's two different roots.
Remember we talked about earlier when we started distorted thinking. And what did we say distorted thinking is? Distorted thinking is when there's brokenness, you tend to think from that broken place. Yeah. And when you think from that broken place, that creates distorted thinking. So here's what distorted thinking does. It thinks that everybody is out to get me.
Yes.
Everybody wants to hurt me. Nobody is safe. See, all of that is rooted in hurt and brokenness. And so now there's a projection that goes on in distorted thinking. So now every thought is messed up because it's broken.
Yeah.
And that's, to my wife's point, why counseling is important, so that you can be healed from the brokenness, so that you can actually think properly, not think distorted. Because when you think distorted, everything is wrong. Everything comes with a slant. Remember, what was that? Bad Boys. There's a scene in the movie when Martin's wife saw them on the camera, and she was like, "I saw y'all," and Will was like, "Yo, that got a slant to it."
Yeah.
And that's the reality. Is when you have distorted thinking, that means that your thinking always comes with a slant, and it's never wholesome. And so everything is, everything has got an issue behind it. So again, the question is your mate paying attention to you?
Yes.
Paying you any attention? So,
and how you can determine that is, for instance, if there's something that's going on with you and that's been pondering or plaguing your mind for some time, a person who has been paying attention will notice when you're trying to indulge in something that you typically wouldn't indulge in,
right.
Where you once were wanting to be around her or him, now it's like, okay, I'm isolating.
Yep.
Or, those type of attributes. If that wasn't part of your character the entire time of the course of the relationship in your marriage, not to say it was healthy, but when something changes, when something shifts, your mate is supposed to be able to pick up on it and detect it. So, meaning, and for those who know, naturally, my husband, naturally, we lost father. And what my husband would typically do in catastrophic situations, he would pour himself into something really heavy, like to get his mind off of it. So over the course of a month, we've been going out heavily, more than we ever. I mean, this take me back to dating life. Honestly, I'm like, dang, we gone every day. Babe, what you want to do? Whatever you want to do, honey. But I'm right here along with him because I know he needs it. So truthfully, my husband is a homebody. He would be kicked up, watching TV, chilling with his popcorn, okay? He don't have to be out and about and all of that. But when I saw that shift, I was like, okay, no, he needs to be out. So that way he can get his mind focused on. So it's just being very attentive, and you have to be able to watch it.
She be trying, y'all. She be trying. You notice that? But no, that's a great point and observation. And the reality is, to her
that's
point,
just an example.
If you make the observation that something is going on, I want to challenge you to speak up.
Yes.
Because oftentimes what happens in a lot of relationships is, if you do notice a change and you don't say anything, oftentimes it goes down the road, and then something really catastrophic may happen because you never bothered to really speak up at the time that it was necessary. So again,
what other things can come up during those times?
Oh man,
to clear your mind.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen for people when they're in
That's what you want to avoid.
The distorted thinking aspect. You get stonewalling. Stonewalling is when a person pretty much shuts down and they don't. You may ask a question and the answer is yes, no,
not giving you nothing at all.
I mean, it's just that's stonewalling. Okay, there's something going on. And again, isolation, where a person just completely shuts down and they don't, say anything. They lock themselves in rooms. Men are really good with, they're notorious for this, taking long drives. I'm just going to drive from one state to the next state. It's these types of actions. And when you recognize these things, you want to be able to say, wait a minute, let's get to the root behind this. And
I'm glad you mentioned the drive because I used to be heavy, especially before marriage, but marriage changed my whole philosophy. And I hope we can help you with this. But when you stonewall, what you're saying is, I don't trust my mate enough, for married couples now, or, dating couples that aspire to be married, but I don't trust my mate enough to be vulnerable with you. So instead of you being vulnerable and allowing me the opportunity to be there for you, reciprocating that, I'm going to go ahead and shut off, which ultimately is really that person on the outside understanding where your relationship is versus where it's not.
Right.
So for someone who may automatically checks out or stonewalls, then you have to kind of do, yes, it could be their character. Maybe that's what they've been taught. Maybe they've been used to it and all that other stuff. But I can honestly say when you're with the right person, whatever you was used to, doesn't stick.
Doesn't apply any longer.
It doesn't stick. And why doesn't it stick? Because your love surpasses any kind of understanding,
right,
or any notion you had before. It surpasses all of that. So whatever I was comfortable in, I'm in my little funky attitude, or I just want to be closed off today. Dang, you know what? I wonder how he would feel about this. I wonder how this is impacting him, or I wonder how this is impacting her. Right. Now, where you once would go weeks or days, whatever, that's selfish.
Right.
And so when you're in a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship, you exchange the I, me, whatever notion for no, what is good for us?
Right.
What can we do?
What can we do?
And that kind of changes the narrative. And then also by your actions changes the entire dynamic, or focuses on what is broken.
Right.
So you should always be able to allow a lens to be on whatever is bothering you from that person who is the closest to you. And that's the person who you lay in bed with every single night if you're with someone. So
one of the things that
nakedness.
We've been talking about this with our singles group. And one of the things that I'm really trying to beat the bush on, it kind of goes to what Yolanda just said, that when you're loved the right way, your outlook is so much different. And I agree with that, Yolanda. But then also, I want to really throw this in there. The biggest thing that's necessary is friendship. And for whatever reason, I was just talking to my wife about this today, but for whatever reason, a lot of married couples seem to not know how to be friends. And I was just sharing with her that, for myself, as many of you know, I was married previously. And we weren't necessarily the best of friends. So to my wife's point, there's a lot of things we wouldn't talk about. There's a lot of things we wouldn't share. And this is collectively, the both of us. We just didn't know how to love each other the way we should have loved each other.
Yes.
And I look at that and I say, wow, that's really amazing, because had we understood the importance of friendship, now watch what happened. For me, to my wife's point, as she mentioned earlier, I can be a workaholic. Mm-hmm. So when I felt like I was checked out of the relationship and I felt like my ex-wife was checked out of the relationship, I threw myself into activities.
Yeah.
I became a football coach. I worked 2 and 3 jobs. I started a business. I was running a church. I was in church every single day. There was not a night of the week that I wasn't in church, because I didn't want to be home with the person that was a stranger to me. And so I was just sharing with my wife today. I said, I'm so in love with who you are, and we have such a good relationship that I couldn't make myself be away from you like that, because I enjoy her company. So
that's our best friend.
Because we're really right.
We like each other.
We're like each other, and we're really close.
Yeah.
So I can't find myself. If the way the ministry, for instance, is, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be in church every single day and you're at home. I love you too much. I want to be with you. So These folks in my church better learn how to have a relationship with God on their own, because a couple days a week, they're not going to see me, in the business.
For real.
And with the job, and it's just.
And I didn't see that. I'm glad you made that point, because for those who know our story, I didn't really see that. So coming into it, it wasn't so much like I I guess for me, I just didn't know what to expect from an activity or a perspective of just ministry, how ministry and marriage would look with us. Boy. Like I didn't really know one way or the other.
Right.
Because for those who know, I didn't grow up in church. That wasn't, I made quite a few mistakes, I mean, I'm just being true. I was out there. So for me, it wasn't necessarily, like that. But coming into this dynamic and seeing, on the outside looking in, that would be something anyone would be kind of hesitant who really is like, wait, can there be a balance?
Right.
Because there wasn't really one shown one way or the other. So it was like, okay, well, I don't know what to expect here, whatever the case may be. But I think early on when we started working together, because we worked together for maybe 3 years at the same company, when we began working together, it was like, it would be funny. Yolanda can attest to this. Every break we would be together, walking down the hallways. Lunch breaks, eating in the cafeteria, just walking around the hall.
Sean can attest to it.
Sean can too. Y'all don't love each other that much. Like, okay, y'all can stop now. People will really think we will be fronting. Like, oh, bro, you in the doghouse. That's why you coming every. Sean would eat. He would do that to my husband all the time. But we weren't married at the time. We were just dating. But it's funny because that was just genuinely, I wanted to be close to my best friend. But I shared with him from a work-life balance perspective. What'd you say, Yolanda? What'd you say?
We had to split our time into that. See, I didn't even know all that.
No, they subconsciously did that. They never told me.
Well, she told you now.
Oh, man. See, I didn't know that because Sheena sat beside me. So she got me 24/7 when he wasn't there. But dang. Okay, well, I didn't know it was that bad. No, his work partners and colleagues felt the same way. I was a member of tech support. Like I came to all the festivities. So service was like, yeah, go ahead and go over to Thomas' department so you can bring back the snacks and the food and the jerk chicken and whatever.
Look, she's talking about hit the corner. We already know who was sitting.
They probably used to have bets. If y'all had bets, y'all came into some money.
Hey, I was working on my wife, man.
He was working day and night hard. But no.
Got me working.
So I established balance very early because on our breaks and lunches, I wouldn't allow him to talk about work. Listen, for those who know what company, we ain't gonna say the company we work for. But listen. Yep. I don't want to talk about that. Look, I got to talk to these people all the time about the company. When we talk, let's talk about us.
Listen.
So I established balance very early in our dating relationship. Like, I'm checked out. It would be funny because he would just talk to me all this time about his last call and his manager and his colleague, and I would just be like, mm-hmm. So, what are we going to do when we get off today? Like, I would easily change the topic. I wouldn't even go into it. And then eventually I would be passive aggressive, hiding. And then eventually I would say, babe, I don't really like talking to you about work when we on the clock still.
Man, listen.
When we off the clock, because we talk about it on our breaks, our lunches, and catch this, y'all, when we rode together. Now, we were living together now. I would have to hear it on the way home. And I'm like, okay, babe, it ain't that much work in the work. We work for the same company, so it ain't that.
What I was trying to explain to her, with the type of work I do, okay, if our website goes down, I'm responsible for that. So now I got to deal with 150 million calls and attitudes and things like that because the site is down and me and my guys trying to get things and figure out what's going on, handle the service. We're handling all this stuff. So naturally, when I come home, I have to debrief. Or when I'm off work and I've talked to her on the phone, give me an hour to debrief. No, you're not going to debrief me. We're going to talk about me.
My boundary, and it wasn't so much with him. I had a boundary with work. Listen, I'm there from this time to that time. Y'all don't get no more conversation about y'all outside of work hours. I was adamant about that.
She was adamant about it.
Yeah. And so did that rub off on you eventually? It did. I'll answer it. It rubbed off because then we started having conversations other than work, of observation. So for the couples who always talk about work, who always talk about the kids, who always talk about the businesses, y'all, newsflash, y'all aren't really communicating. Always talk about the ministry. Y'all aren't really connecting.
And that's what I was going to say, what she got me to see that. Because what happens is you are talking about things, not relational things. And so when I really recognized the dynamic behind that, I caught it and was like, you know what, you got a point. Because we're not connecting if we're talking about an iPhone. We can't really connect with the iPhone.
It's going to be limited.
But we can connect with each other. That's right, Yolanda. 4:30 in 1 second. Do not mention that. Listen.
Work for the same company. Yes. Got it.
Yeah. So the reality is, that's it, Rodney. Church talk all day. I mean, and that's like with my wife. I don't sit around with her and have dialogue about scripture and Bible all day and Revelation. Now, there's times when I share things with her when I'm, trying to help guide her and lead her in things, or I feel like the Lord has given me something for her. I'll quickly do that. As many of you know, I've shared before, I have a routine that I do that when I need to be, really in the word or get something out of the scripture, I'm not doing that. Watch this. During her time.
Yeah.
God dealt with me years ago in my first marriage about that. When it's family time, that's exactly what that means. Family time.
Nothing comes in the way of
Nothing gets in the way of family time.
That's a boundary.
Watch this. That's what 3 o'clock in the morning is for. That's what 4 o'clock in the morning is for. That's what 5 o'clock in the morning is for. That is for me and God's time, me and the Holy Spirit's time to do what we do. But when it comes to family time, my wife gets my undevoted attention. Yesterday was Father's Day. All of my children were here. My grandchildren were here. I had a little nephew here. Right? So they get my time.
Yeah.
That's not time for me to be sharing. Because now when I go, and I know a lot of church folks get twisted on that, but you got to understand again, my first ministry will always be this right here. My wife and my children and my that'll always be my first ministry. So I could never put my ministry, my church, so to speak, or the structure or the foundation of that before my people. That would be a slap in the face to God, because God gave me them as a first ministry.
We the people.
And so for any leader or pastor out there that you out here praying, all day long, and you prophesying all day long, and you doing, you know what? Let me tell you something. You out of order. You out of order. And because the reality is God wouldn't have given you a husband. God wouldn't have given you a wife if he meant for you to go and doing all of this. Now, if you're doing these things together, that's one thing. But at the same time, there is also family time, because if you don't make time for family, your family can be taken from you. Okay, I'm trying to tell you, that's why you got to recognize what's what and what's important. So when my wife talks about communication and connecting, all of those things is important. And again, for me, I had to learn that. I had to recognize what I did wrong the first time and recognize that this time I'm not making the same mistake I made the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I was the only, no, I wasn't the only one, but I take ownership of my mistake.
Yeah.
I take ownership of my part of it. And I recognize that this time around, I'm blessed to be able to have a good thing. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep, to motivate, to nurture my good thing.
Yes.
And so I encourage you other guys, you other leaders out there, pay attention to your mate. Pay attention to your spouse. You should not be spending more time doing anything else if you're not doing that with your spouse. I'm sorry. You're out of order. You're out of line. You doing too much with all of that and all of them, and that person sitting at home.
Why are you rebuking people?
Because I'm tired of husbands. Because I'm tired of husbands complaining about their wives. No, because husbands be complaining about their wives.
Hey, Michael, he's taking one of your numbers right now.
No, it's like husbands be complaining about the wives and his wife. Like, Negro, you ain't never home. What you expect?
Yeah.
How's she going? What's she supposed to do?
What's she supposed to work with?
Give her something to work nothing to work with.
Yeah.
You're not romancing her. You're not dining her. You don't take her out on dates.
Or better yet, I'm glad you mentioned the romance. Or expecting her to be hot and ready when you haven't did nothing to stimulate her.
You ain't even turned the eye on. CJ, my man. See, CJ know what I'm talking. You know what? CJ know what I'm talking about. That is funny. CJ knows what I'm talking. I have seen CJ, and CJ is worse than me.
Oh yeah, CJ loves him.
He loves his wife.
Oh,
he flirt with his wife.
My sister said hello.
He pays attention to his wife. And this is what I'm saying. And his wife loves him. She loves him.
Listen,
that woman is crazy about some CJ. Shauna love her some CJ. But again, it's reciprocal. The more you pour in, the more you're going to get back out of it. And so I'm a big advocate of, again, I've made mistakes. I saw what transpired. I see how it can be ruined. And so ultimately what we want to do is get to a place of understanding that you've got to pay attention to that person that's with you. Find out what their moods are. Find out what their tendencies are. Yeah. Find out what their attitudes are. What triggers them.
Yeah.
Why does this create a problem for them? Why does this create an issue for them? Why are they not satisfied with that? It's these types of things.
Make a comment. Be a troublemaker. This is a troublemaking audience.
Oh my gosh.
You have to catch the replay.
So, but ultimately, guys, it's about really understanding that, does your mate pay attention to, because watch, there's a lot of people who go through unnecessary drama because they didn't pay attention.
And this brings me to...
They didn't see the warning signs. They didn't see the triggers.
This brings me to the singles perspective, because you guys know we do Real Talk with the singles as well. So we oftentimes stress the fact, if a man is not labeling you, you are not his, okay?
Oh, man.
He's not claiming you as his. Yeah. So you can move respectfully.
But you got
you choose to move respectfully.
Let's explain what she means by that. If you're 6 months in and you like, oh, this is my man. But then when he introduces you to his mama, if he introduces you to his mama, and he introduces you as his friend, wait, we've been together 6 months and he introduced me and mama as friend? Ladies, he just told you who you are to him.
Exactly, a friend.
So while you going around saying, this is my man, he telling everybody, this is my friend.
Yeah.
So he's already letting you know you don't mean.
However, I'm going to talk about the players. So he's talking about the ones who are gentlemen-like. The players are going to introduce, and the mamas and the sisters pick up on it instantly. Oh, that's my girl. Wait, we just met his girl.
No,
that was a different name. No, but they won't say that. They won't say that. But you'll see it, and they'll get on him later on after you leave. Yeah. So mamas, sister cousins, all of that, they will play the field and get on the dude later. But the point I was trying to make in this whole thing, not only will he make it be known that you're his, but also he will be very observant into the things that matter most to you, from little to small or little to big.
Right.
He'll make sure that he's attentive to your needs. It's just certain things that he'll or she will make certain of. So that's how you'll know.
Right.
In that
instance. That helps, especially if he's a mature man.
We're talking about observation, but you have to level up to that, because anybody could say, oh, I like you based off of physical attraction,
right?
Based off of the car you drive, based off of the income that you make.
But a man that is into you is going to express things to you that's not on the surface.
Woo!
I used to tell my wife all the time.
Let's go deeper.
That she is funny.
Go deeper with
Stephanie said in the Grant family, we're gonna pull that car straight at the gate. Listen. Now it's funny that she say that, because watch this.
Got the car
watch this. It's funny because when I was dating her Her and I had discussed marriage, and Stephanie, actually, was her cousin.
She pulled it.
She was like, "Hey, y'all, this is Jessica's friend." And I said, "Hold up, time out."
But it's funny because Stephanie ran game to see where you was at because she knows.
Oh, is that what she was doing?
Yeah, she knew where I told her you were my man.
Oh well, all I said was, "Hold up, time out. This ain't no friend." I'll say from now on, you gonna be addressing me as cousin. I'm marrying this woman. And for all y'all that's in the room, this is gonna be my wife. I told him straight out.
It was about 10 ladies in the room. My husband didn't care. He wasn't my husband at the time. He laid the authority down.
I wasn't playing.
I ain't playing with y'all. First impression.
I was offended by friend. What the? You got what I need? No. I'm like, this is not what we gonna do. You say you just no. I'm like, no, I'm putting a ring on this.
No, Apostle Sally.
Oh, baby.
He was serious. He was like, hold up. Like, no laughing. Listen, none of that. He's like, wait a minute, what you not gonna do?
I was serious. I'm like, wait. Y'all don't understand the seriousness of our relationship. Let me help you. You know, she ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna take care of this one for the rest of her life.
I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what was coming next. But when I saw Stephanie, she on the line, so I could talk about it. So when I saw her, be like,
no.
She didn't even respond. Her whole face was like, I like him.
I was like, no, CJ, look. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm like, This one here for the rest of her life. I'm taking care of this. I'm like, y'all don't understand where I'm at with this.
He took authority, CJ.
Right, there's no friendship. But to that point, I made it known what my intentions were and where I was going with that and who she is to me. This is not just some woman. This is not just, no, I value her. And so I really wanted them to know I wasn't trying to be rude. But it was like, no. I value this girl.
Yeah.
You know, I see something in her that maybe everybody else don't see. But I know the queen that she is to me. Love you too, babe. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, this is my boo thing. Yes, but no. So again, but really, guys, it's about paying attention. Mm-hmm. It's really about paying attention.
You gotta be
to that person that you're with. So I used to tell my wife, you know, when we were really early on in this thing, I would say, baby, I study you.
Yeah.
And I tell her to this day, I still study her movements. You know, it's like, look. So
now straight from the meeting point, who are you and what are your intentions?
And I laid that out from the very get-go. Like, look, what's your intention, sir? I'm like, look. And what's funny about that is May pulled me to the corner and was like, look, we got to have a talk. Okay. And then after May came Jackie. Okay, look, I just want to. Okay, really?
It was a cookout. It was turned into a friendly cookout. And they said, you can go over there. We need to talk to him.
We need to talk to him.
No, I'm with him.
I'm like, look, we can talk. Look, wasn't no shame in my game. Wasn't no embarrassment. I'm like, I'm not coming with nothing behind my back. This is purity right here.
Yeah.
And you know, to that point, what a lot of them didn't know was that her and I were going through a lot of counseling at that time to really help us get to a place that we needed to be, because there was a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, Mike, when you recognize your queen, look, we all in on it. Yeah. But we have to recognize it. But what happens is, watch this.
Not
that's it. Look, and she ain't never lying. Gang Grants Mount, listen.
Gang. Where was she at? I'm surprised she's not.
But this is why our options are not up, because they sense when a man sees his truth. But it's rude. But it's true, man. But once we do, guys, I encourage you again to pay attention to her.
Yeah.
Pay attention to her nails.
Because that will set you apart from anyone. Now,
pay attention to her nails. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to her hair. Pay attention. Look, I paid so much attention to my wife. Watch this. I took her to the store and picked the dress up off the rack, and she was like, "How you know what size I wear?"
He sure did.
I said, "Baby, I study you."
He sure did.
And watch this.
And got it right.
Got this. She had the nerve to argue me down about the dress. I'm like, baby, this is the size you. No, it's not.
Yeah, I've been fluctuating.
I'm like, I got you. You don't have to worry about nothing. Now, like I said earlier, I know I'm a different kind of man. I know that not every man, is that detailed and precise. I am. But I encourage you guys, if you really want
you can aspire to that.
If you really want to blow your wife's mind, your significant other's mind, pay attention to her, man. Pay attention to those little things. And it will absolutely,
not
blow
from
your
a
mind.
game perspective. No, we're not encouraging you to run game. Like,
listen,
honey, you've been running through my mind.
All of y'all that's gaming, turn the phone off now. Exit stage right. I mean, real, just exit stage right. We're not even dealing with you. We talking to the serious guy, the men who are in long-term committed relationships, married men, guys who really want to, get into this thing and have a great relationship. Yeah. It's all about being able to know each other. Men study your wives, wives study your husband. This is not one-fold.
Reciprocate. Listen, can you tell about the Father's Day?
No, my wife, listen, I told her yesterday, I'm like, I said, you're determined to make me cry. Because every time I turn around when she's doing something for me, and I mean in terms of, sharing gifts or doing things, they're so thoughtful.
And that's not his love language.
Right.
That's mine.
That's hers. But she's so thoughtful. And so the case in point, I played baseball for many years, grew up playing baseball all the way through high school. Baseball was my sport of choice. Well, football was my sport of choice. I gave up baseball for football, but I loved baseball. And about 6 or 7 years ago, somewhere along the line, I ended up losing my ball glove. And so a couple of times I mentioned, man, I wish I had a glove. That wasn't something I talked about a lot, but it was a couple of times I said, man, I sure, I need to go get me a ball glove. It would just skip my mind. So, a few days ago, some boxes that arrived from Amazon. Y'all know my wife is Amazon queen. So I'm like, this girl that ordered some stuff from Amazon, didn't know what they were, a few boxes. Well, yesterday from Father's Day, she's like, these are your gifts. I'm like, really?
Let you do the honors.
Let you do the honors and open them up. Okay. I opened up the box, and in the box was a ball glove. Now, you got to understand something. I'm a lefty, or what they call a southpaw. So you can't just if you go to buy a baseball glove, it's going to be a right-handed glove by default.
Yeah.
So that means that she had to do some research to get the ball glove. But not only did she do the research, and it really touches me, this part here, because before my father passed, my wife had a conversation with my father about my baseball glove. He told her what size glove to get me, where to get the glove, and everything. And that's how and it's like, you got to be kidding me. And, so as you know, my father died a few weeks ago. We put him in the ground, and he and I used to play catch all the time. So that was a really sensitive moment for me. And for her to get me a glove, I was just like, I was done. Like, you got to be kidding me. But then she took it a step further. She was like, I don't just want to get you a glove. Further in the box, she had a baseball glove for my youngest son, who's 5 years old. So now I can teach him what I taught my older son, which is how to catch and how to throw the ball. And I was just like, done. I said, if we don't do nothing else, I'm done.
But what's funny to that, we're going to let you guys go, but what was funny to that, we were at a park uptown, and he was getting so frustrated with little Xavier, 5 years old now, getting frustrated because he was not throwing the football right. He like, look, I'm allergic to the sun. I got to get out of here. Can I be in the shade with Miss Jessica? I don't know what he on, but help me. I'm like, Zay, I can't do that. This your dad. Like, you got to man up.
Listen.
But meanwhile, his sister was out there just throwing, got an arm and everything, just throwing. Not even worried about sweat. What's sweat?
Listen, man.
She's not even worried. They like,
was a football.
I'm hot.
I'm out playing with a Nerf football. And my daughter is slinging the football at me like she Peyton Manning. And my son, he, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
He's not even catching. She's throwing so high.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what?
Wait a minute.
And I said, we was at the park. It was Thursday.
When they
Friday. It was Friday. Okay. Friday. That was Friday.
We love you too, CJ.
So it was that Friday that I said, man, I sure wish I had a glove so that I could teach this boy how to throw and catch. That was Friday. Watch this now.
Meanwhile,
Saturday,
they've been sitting there.
they've been sitting there.
And
Saturday,
on the sideline,
my oldest son came by and he brought my oldest grandson. My oldest grandson, he's playing baseball. So he had a game, and after the game, my son brought him by, and my son was kind of critiquing him. And I was like, man, if I had my glove, I'd show you how to do this. I'm just talking about it. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, my wife tells me to open the box, and there was a ball glove sitting there.
The whole time.
And I was just like,
with both of those occurrences, it's been in the house the entire time.
And I was just done, because I was like, wow, babe, the fact that you thought to do something like that. I'm like, and for anyone who hasn't played baseball, you don't understand. There's a relationship that a man has with his baseball glove. It's a sentimental piece. It's like, wow, you really, I'm like, babe, that's like.
And we're going to leave you with this last story just for the Father's Day. And we want to say happy Father's Day to everyone. Happy belated Father's Day. We love you all. Last night, part of his gift, I actually got him a foot soaker.
Right. Mike
talking that baseball language.
No, she got me a Franklin. But I know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
listen,
the Wilson.
This glove, you don't even have to break it in. It's already broke in, Mike.
Yeah,
who gets the glove and you don't have to break it in?
I read the reviews. That was all, I knew it was Wilson and Franklin. And then I'm like, it started with an R.
I'm like, Rawlings. It's like, no. Yes.
So, But no, I actually got him a foot spa tub. And so my idea for Father's Day, and this is something I never did, but paying attention, we went to the nail salon maybe a week ago. We went to the nail salon and I got a pedicure. Now my husband, he's just there for the massage chairs and massage chairs only. He ain't doing none of that. Don't touch my feet. Nope. The lady kept coming over like, you sure you don't want a pedicure? I sure don't. My wife is the only one who touched my feet.
I said,
mind you,
my wife?
And she don't even touch my feet. That was the phrase. Now I heard that phrase twice too many. 2 times. Now if it was one time, I would have just let it roll off. Like, oh, okay, he just joking. But then 2 times I heard it, not back to back, but I heard it. And I'm like,
I was like,
that's kind of like a
my wife don't even touch my feet. How are you talking about you?
Yeah.
For me to do with my feet.
So I was like, intimate. You know what? Let me go ahead and get a foot spa. So that's what I did. So, but not only was I adamant about, making sure the spa was perfect and all of that, when he was opening up his Father's Day and he had the gloves and all that, so Victoria, our daughter, comes around. She's like, oh, Daddy, you got a glove. That's so cool. I said, yeah. He also has a foot spa machine. We're going to be massaging his feet later and, doing this and doing that. Isn't that fun? Our son Destiny cracking up. Her face, he didn't even see the face. He just heard the pause. Like,
that is
it was just so silent.
Yeah. She said, we're going to do daddy's feet. Doesn't that sound like fun? She did like this. That was.
And I was like, yeah. And I turned back and she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I was like, no, we are going to do that. And because it's, listen, y'all, I said, because it's Father's Day. So that means today we doing that? She thought she had time to prepare.
This girl, my daughter, love that.
I was like, but we had such an eventful, and she still thought she had time to prepare because after all of the kids left, I was like, all right, Victoria, we're going to do that. Wait, we are? Because she had an eventful day and she thought like I forgot about it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to teach you how to. But she was awesome. She did a great job.
But but long story short, they ended up giving me a pedicure. And it was amazing. It really was. I was like, wow, babe. I'm like, that is like so big, for you to do something like that. And it's just.
Yes, Stephanie, dropping hints. Like, twice too many.
I wasn't dropping hints. I was just saying, I'm not doing I'm not going to let you touch my feet. For me,
that's intimate.
Dealing with feet is intimate. I'm like, so that's, reserved for my wife.
Intimate.
And I'm like, and my wife don't even do that. So how am I going to let you do something I'm not going to let my wife do? And that's kind of my perspective. So I'm like, no, don't be back up off.
He had a great perspective. He had a great perspective, but no, as our daughter and I were doing it, then our son Xavier, he was looking up because at first he said he wasn't with it. He was on his tablet, and I asked him without him looking up at me, without any of that eye contact. I said, Xavier, you want to help, massage it? No. Like it was quick. Like I can't make this up. Like, and he continued playing. So I'm like, okay, well,
y'all gotta know all my boys.
Y'all have to know the animation.
Down.
Y'all have to know the animation.
From the oldest to the youngest.
Alexander. You have to know the animation. From the oldest to the youngest,
my boys are an absolute trip. You hear me?
So when he saw how it was, apparently it looked fun. So he caught himself trying to, massage the leg and stuff.
And then
he got soap on his
my calf.
He got soap on his hand.
He was like, "What is this?" Nah. I'm not.
He was out.
Yeah, but anyway, the whole point
is
like suggestion
and encouraging.
Yeah,
your children are seeing certain things.
That part.
And as much, my whole point of bringing this up is, oftentimes it's about, how you treat your woman. You should treat your woman this way. You should cater to your woman's needs. Happy wife, happy life. We heard all of that.
True.
All centuries, just hearing that a man's happiness means nothing. The woman's happiness means more. So from that perspective, I'm like, no, let's change the narrative and balance this out, because just as much as my husband caters to me, I should be able to cater to him too. And it's not a sacrifice. It's because I enjoy it. So how much more? So
speaking my language.
So I say that, and it's teaching our daughter, believe it or not, balance, because I worry about her, with the future, with guys and stuff. I'm like, ooh, they
loves to be the center of attention.
Yes.
And the man.
And so this is like getting her in the mindset of, oh, I could take care of the man too. Yeah, you can. It's not all about, but that's another story. But no, we have it obvious.
Again, the key is pay attention to detail.
Be attentive.
Be attentive to your mate in every area, and kind of to their point, little hints, little suggestions, little words, things that, I can even go to my wife. My wife loves taking pictures. She loves cameras, and she had a camera back when she was in high school. And one of her friends actually broke her camera, and she told me about it, and it devastated her. So when I thought about that, I can't even remember what it was for. I actually went out and I bought her a 35 millimeter camera.
My 18th birthday hurt my heart at the boardwalk.
At 18th birthday,
I remember that like it was yesterday.
And I heard, I heard her say that, and so I decided to go out and get her a camera. Because I'm like, I don't want that to be. So again, it's about paying attention to little things and being able to truly show and express your love for your mate. It will carry over. Your children will see it. Your family, people will see it. Like my wife say, it's funny because everywhere we go, and people are always kind of talking about our relationship and us, and I don't get it, because I'm like, we don't even be doing anything.
Don't get it, babe.
No, I'm saying, well, that we don't even be doing that. We be sitting at the table.
We draw attention.
And they be like, oh my God, I just love y'all. Love.
Yeah, we were at a restaurant like a few weeks ago.
I got mayonnaise on the side of my mouth.
They were like, how do you guys do it? Because I know there's an age difference. You have to let me know. And I'm like, but you know what? From what perspective? Like, what are we talking? A waitress just came over and just said, I'm like,
I like what you asked, Stephanie. If you don't groom your partner to know you and your likings, then how will they know? And the only way that they'll know is, again, being observant. And I know for men, this is something, for men, most of us, we're bad at that. But again, I can't stress enough that you've got to pay attention to what's going on. Watch this. This is going to strike a nerve for some people. Pay attention to the type of makeup your wife wears. Pay attention to her lipstick color.
Yeah.
My wife can send me to the store right now, babe. Can you go get me make? I know the number that she has to get, because I pay attention. Pay attention to the perfume that she wears. Pay attention to her shoe size. these are things that, again, when you...
And you might need to double check that after quarantine because it might have went up a size. So come back with the wrong size.
But it's just one of those things where if you're paying attention, and I love what you say, grooming your partner. Yeah, grooming your partner, but in some cases, you don't even have to be groomed if you just pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Understand, when women wear hair, there's a lot of different types of hair out there, brothers. There's a lot of different types of hair. But, and so don't just be so oblivious to what's happening, to what's going on. And kind of going to my wife's point about pampering, women go through a lot to pamper themselves.
So if you're not acknowledging after she done paid all that money, after she done sacrificed all that pain,
they be out there like on a construction site, getting them nails done and their feet done. Look, they put the goggles on, be going in. It's like, y'all do all that, be plucking the brows. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How was I getting nothing plucked?
Well, that was the first time you realized when you saw, was it my eyebrows? And you were like, dang, you really be going through pain.
I forget what it was. It was something.
I think it was my eyebrows.
But I recognized early on that women go through a lot to look good for us. And if that's the case, we need to pay attention to those things. So my wife get her eyebrows done. Guess what, baby? Them eyebrows are bad. Wife get her hair twisted. Baby, your hair is beautiful. She go out and get some jeans, girl. You look good in them jeans. Look, my wife be looking good in some jeans. You know,
so
it's
I don't like attention.
So it's just all of these things.
Just kidding.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Do not allow this person to be. And I'm not saying that. Listen, I'm saying that from a flattery perspective. But watch this. Pay attention also because sometimes there's some negative things that goes on. And you need to be, not just in her mind, but I'm saying that the other person may be doing that you might be missing. Recognize what's happening. Pay attention.
Yeah.
You can keep from getting got if you pay attention. There are red flags out there. There are triggers out there. Open your eyes and see it. Don't be so in love. Yeah, don't be so in love that you can't see the red flags.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not.
If she walking around with an attitude and everything is all peachy in y'all relationship and marriage, I guarantee it's because you lacking a compliment somewhere or an acknowledgement.
No, they'll do that.
That's free game. Just letting y'all know. If everything, you done examine everything, like, okay, I took out the trash, I didn't do this, I didn't leave the toilet seat up, okay, what's she tripping? Oh, God. She got her eyebrows done and I didn't say nothing. And she been batting her eyes or she got her eyelashes on, she been batting them. Like, oh, okay. Just have a casual conversation. So this Negro, I spent $100 on my individual lashes.
Pay attention, fellas.
And y'all not going to say nothing?
Ladies, pay attention. That's all you got to do. Pay attention to
Pay attention to the cologne. Hi, Gloria.
Pay attention to your significant others. I'm telling you.
Pay attention when your partner needs something from you. Maybe
a hug or a simple comment.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Yep. You've got to pay attention
to
little things. Yes. I never forget, we were having a conversation and I told my wife, because my wife is this thing, she's real cool with it. When she don't want to have a particular conversation with a thing, she just not going, she'll check out. She will check out on you in a heartbeat. And so I told her, I said, babe, I'll be trying to talk to you and you just be like in la la land somewhere. It's my way of trying to connect with you. And she was like, oh, I didn't realize that, babe. I'm sorry. And so then it became a thing because for her, when I say that, I'm saying if she's not interested in it.
Yeah.
So again, you already know for her, the only thing that she's interested in is love. If it ain't love, she ain't interested. So
travel.
Yeah, travel and love. Those are the only two things.
You bought tickets? Where are we going next week? Where are we going?
That's it. Those are the only two things she really is interested in conversating about. Anything else that is not love or travel, she'd be like, and it's like, Jess, I need you to check in.
Okay, here we go.
I'll be like, dude, but
that's our warning. That's my warning. When he says that line, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it again. Okay, let me act right.
I'm doing it again.
I told him myself.
I'll be like, babe,
reiterate.
I'll be like, the game was,
Yeah,
babe,
and I haven't been watching this series at all.
Babe, come on.
I didn't really chat. And basketball is my sport.
But that's the key. Pay attention to find out when your partner needs something.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention and act upon what it is you're paying attention on, you will have such a successful relationship. You will have such a fulfilling relationship.
Yes, fulfilling.
You will not have a void. You will not feel like, you're left out. It don't always have to be your movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes can't it be her movie? Or sometimes can't it be his movie?
Yes.
Hint, hint.
Right. Right. I felt that. So closing announcements, you guys, closing remarks while we transition here. So go ahead and let the people know.
July 24th.
Yes.
July 24th, we're going to be live in Snellville, Georgia. And we're going to be having our Real Talk with the Singles, our singles panel.
Yes.
There's about 10 of them. They're going to be live in the building. We're going to be live. When I say live, I mean you can come in as a live audience with us. Join us. We are catering food, drinks.
Yes.
We're going to have a DJ. We're having an after party. It is going to be live. When I say live, like literally, it's going to be lit.
Yes. So if you guys just want to get out and travel or just take a weekend and say, you know what, I'm going to Atlanta. Snellville is not too far from Metro Atlanta.
Well, and that's Atlanta, basically, right.
But yeah, so come out. July 24th is a Saturday. It's going to start at 7. So you have, if you're in Charlotte, you got 4 hours. Whether you want to do it at noon, okay, let me leave at noon. Let me leave at 1. Let me leave at 2.
So you can leave at noon. You can be there by 4. So you go downtown Atlanta, get your outfit.
Atlanta's down the street.
Yeah, and you can go shopping, and then you can come up to Snellville when we get ready to do the program, and we're going to have a live taping.
Yes.
A live taping. That's going to be there.
All walks of life.
Yes. So we encourage you guys to reserve July 24th. We're going to be live in the building.
At 7 p.m. There is going to be a flyer that's going to be circulating all social media platforms. We encourage you all to help us share it. Tag others that you feel like would be able to drive, and who would love to just be in that kind of atmosphere. Nobody else is doing it, so let's support.
Hey, we're asking all of y'all to come on out.
Let's support.
You'll be in Pennsylvania for your nephew's wedding. Oh my God, Yolanda, you should be in the building,
But it's okay because we're kicking off the tour in Georgia. But eventually, it's going to be coming in Charlotte, hometown.
Catch the replay, Ellen. It's off. Tonight's topic was off the chain.
Yeah,
my wife was.
I tried to tag you earlier.
She was off the chain as usual. But listen, guys, y'all want to come visit us again, July 24th. We're gonna be live in the building.
Yes,
and we're looking.
And you're able to ask questions, so it's not just you listening in the live audience. If you have a situationship you want to know more information about, you're not going to be on camera. So it's going to be, you're not going to be on camera.
Wait, no, you are going to be on camera because it's a live taping.
Not the audience.
That's the audience too. It's a live taping, y'all.
I was going to say, y'all could get y'all questions.
No, I don't know where she got that one from because we're doing a live taping. She tripping. That ginger ale done got to you. So we got a live taping. So everybody's going to be on camera. But again, that's why we're inviting you guys to come on out because we're excited because we're taping it. It's going to be pre-recorded. It will be airing at another date, but it's going to be live. Again, we're going to have a DJ in the building, DJ Fran Lever.
It's going to be a live after party.
The ones and twos. We got the
you
menu.
Can meet other singles and mingle.
It's a full course menu, by the way. So it's not like no little hors d'oeuvres or nothing. No. We feed you. Okay?
Yeah. We got a full live cater.
Yeah, we feed you some grizzub. We can feed you some grizzub so you can get and again, once the show is over, the after party. Yeah. And we're going to have a ball.
Turned
all right.
Up.
That's it.
Lit.
Well, something, but nonetheless, look, we thank y'all for joining us tonight. Yeah. If you got on late, please catch the replay.
Please tag and share. Tag and share.
Tag and share.
Until next week, you guys.
Hey, we back.
Night.
We back. We're in the building. All right. Y'all have a great night. God bless.